Live from South Victory, this is WFAA News.
Hey, welcome back to WFAA Academy. I'm Tashara Parker. Are you ready to learn about some Texas history? Well, today Jay Wallace teaches us about one of the first signers of the Texas Declaration of Independence and how his legacy lives on today.
There are countless Texans who helped our state gain independence and eventually become the 28th state of the USA. Many of them you likely already know, but I'm here today to tell you about someone you maybe haven't heard about, but you certainly should know and hopefully will soon remember. I want you to meet Jose Antonio Navarro. Born in San Antonio in 1795, Navarro had plenty of political roots in the family, well, and plenty of siblings, 11 to be exact. Navarro taught himself law and built himself up into a successful merchant, rancher, and land investor. Navarro started to make a name for himself in the early 1830s when he represented Texas in a very unique way. While many of Navarro's friends and peers fought at the Battle of the Alamo, he was here at the Washington on the Brazos as these Texans worked to gain their independence. Not only was Navarro the only native Texan to work on the committee that originally wrote the Constitution for the Republic of Texas, he was only one of 2 native Texans to help draft and sign the Texas Declaration of Independence. Now, with their independence, these Texans were wanting more, which led to the Santa Fe Expedition of 1841. The second elected president of the Republic of Texas, Mirabeau Bonaparte Lamar, organized a plan to head down to eastern New Mexico and convince them to secede from Mexico and join the Republic of Texas. This is an official letter from Lamar about the expedition, in part written to Jose Antonio Navarro. Navarro initially didn't like the plan, but many believe Bonaparte played on Navarro's devotion to Texas, convincing him to take the journey. The plan not only fell apart, it was a disaster. Navarro and other members were captured and taken prisoners by the Mexican authorities. Navarro himself underwent intense interrogations. He was even offered a government position if he would renounce his allegiance to Texas. He said something that is now found here on the entrance wall of our state's official history museum in Austin. He proclaimed, "I will never forsake Texas and her cause. I am her son." Think about that. This man was facing potential death, and all he had to do was say something against his home, his Texas, and he would live. But he wouldn't do it. That's something deeper than being proud of where you're from. Navarro was convicted of treason and sentenced to death before the military Supreme Court overturned the verdict and sentenced him to life imprisonment. He was transferred here to the most dreaded prison in Veracruz, most commonly known as a prison of living death, a place in which no one was left alive. But after 4 years in this dungeon, Navarro escaped. Some stories tell of a miraculous escape, but it is most likely that family and friends bribed the prison guards for his release. Even so, it was around this time Navarro got the nickname the White Dove, being regarded as a man of peace who escaped death and prison. Navarro returned home considered a hero, earning respect from leaders such as good friend Stephen F. Austin and colleague Sam Houston. Navarro went on to have many important pieces of writing that capture the history of what Texas was and became. He is considered the first Tejano to write about the history of Texas. He also saw the need to correct the versions of local history that ignored, diminished, or incorrectly reported the historical contributions of Tejanos. Navarro also served in many different capacities through the years at the local, state, and national level. During his lifetime, there were 6 changes of government: a Spanish colony, a Mexican state, an independence republic, an American state, a Confederate state, and then once again, an American state. Navarro eventually lived full-time in San Antonio, near where he was born. That's where he died in 1871. Now, this might have been nearly 150 years ago, but that doesn't diminish the type of impact he still has today. With more than 500 Navarro descendants throughout Texas and other states, there are plenty of things named after him, like here at Navarro Street in San Antonio, and the Navarro Schoolhouse, also in San Antonio. For those in North Texas, if you live in Navarro County, yep, that's named after him as well. Corsicana, a city within that county, is named in memory of his father's birthplace of Corsica. In 1936, the Texas Centennial Commission placed this large bronze statue of Navarro that now sits in front of the Navarro County Courthouse. It's not just about streets and cities and statues, it's about the people who won't let the memory of this man fade away. The nonprofit, the Friends of Casa Navarro, was founded by his great-great-granddaughter, Sylvia Navarro Tillotson, in 2006. This organization is dedicated to enhancing the profile, legacy, and accomplishments of the Navarro name. While they make sure to celebrate his birthday every year with people coming from around the state and country, they also are focused on scholarships for the younger generations and making sure to find ways to educate people on what Navarro did for Texas independence. The nonprofit's leaders also helped enhance San Antonio's Casa Navarro State Historic Site, turning it into a more interactive historical experience, allowing everyone to remember who Jose Antonio Navarro was. Navarro was a self-taught man who fought for what he believed in and didn't know how to go through life any other way. He helped Texas gain its independence and inevitably helped us become a part of the country we live in today. And if this story didn't make you understand what Navarro means to Texas and Texas means to Navarro, I'd like to read you a piece from his obituary. To none of her greatest statesmen, nor to her many eminent patriots, is Texas more indebted for her existence as a republic than Jose Antonio Navarro. His memory will be cherished with the fondest regard.
Okay, we are back and it is time for weather, and Greg's going to get to your main forecast in a minute, Greg, but I know you're joining WFAA Academy too, and you got a little question for everybody watching right now.
Yeah, we do have a little question, something for you to think about as we work our way through the forecast tonight. So our question, our WFAA Academy weather question of the day: an anemometer is used to measure what? And you see the choices there. Is it the dew point, the air pressure, wind speed, or temperature? All right, so that's our question. So while you think about that, let's talk about what we can expect. And speaking of what's going to be happening out there for today, we do have the cloudy skies out there for us here as we go through the day. We'll see some chances for some spotty showers around as we go through the day today. The cloudy skies, those low clouds rolled in this morning. They're going to be sticking around, maybe thinning out some as we head into the afternoon hours. 71 degrees heading on out to Weatherford here. And as we take you back over to DBU, 72. It's warm, it's humid. If you've been out at all trying to exercise, getting that exercise or workout in here this morning, it has been a warm, humid one out there, and that will continue to be the case as we go through the rest of today. Now, as far as the rain chances are concerned, they're going to be on the slight side. Again, only a spotty shower perhaps as we head into this afternoon. Coverage only about 20% at best. We'll have the mostly cloudy skies and those temperatures nudging into the low and mid 80s, I think, as we head later into the afternoon. You see not much in the way of rain right up until midnight. After that, though, that's when things change. We do expect a cluster or line of thunderstorms to be rolling into North Texas. Now, as we look at the satellite and radar composite right now, we do have those spotty showers, as I just mentioned, beginning to develop on into East Texas, over toward Van Zant County, maybe out toward Palestine. Looking at a few showers out there for you here late this morning, heading into midday. So we'll see a few more of those as we get into the afternoon hours here. We can't rule out maybe a stray one making its way over toward Fort Worth and Dallas as as we head into the afternoon. But otherwise, that's about all we're going to see through most of today. Now, there's that cluster of storms that works its way out of the panhandle. It will develop late this afternoon, heading into the evening hours. And as it works its way into North Texas, the thinking is that it should start to weaken some. And we still may have some gusty winds and some hail, along with some brief heavy downpours with that line of storms. But as we head after midnight, you see around 1 a.m., the showers and storms begin to taper off, and we'll still have some leftovers around 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. But again, the trend should be for it to weaken, and maybe by sunrise, it looks like just about all of that should be about over for us. And I think we'll get through most of the day on Thursday dry. But again, just after midnight, late evening, just after midnight, we'll have the best chance for the rain and thunderstorms to move through North Texas. Now, there is a slight risk that some of those could be severe in the yellow shaded area. You see Gainesville, Mineral Wells out toward Archer City, and that enhanced risk a little farther west, mainly out into the panhandle as we come down toward Fort Worth and Dallas, that very low wind marginal risk. So some pocket change size hail and some gusty winds, maybe up 40, 50 miles per hour. But if those storms weaken, as we anticipate, we won't have much in the way of severe weather, but obviously something that we will be watching as those storms move into the Metroplex during the wee hours of the morning tomorrow. So the coverage the rest of the week, though, will taper off a little bit Thursday and Friday, but then we'll bump those rain chances up over the weekend. So it will be a wet Saturday, but the severe weather threat looks low. So that is some good news there, but just keep that in mind if you had some plans for the weekend. Now, here's that 10-day forecast for you. Temperatures will warm into the mid-upper 80s Thursday and Friday, cooling down as you might expect as we get into the weekend with highs only around 80 degrees or so Saturday and Sunday, with those shower and thunderstorm chances lingering on into the first part of next week. Now, let's get back to our Weather Academy question of the day and see if we can answer that for you. An anemometer is used to measure what? Dew point, air pressure, wind speed, or temperature? And the answer is wind speed. And this was invented back in 1846 by a scientist in the UK. His name was John Thomas Romney Robinson. So that is your Academy question, weather question for the day. All right, Tashara, back to you.
All right, thanks, Greg. John would have been mad at me because I got that answer wrong. But thank you. All right, guys, that wraps up our weather lesson. Up next is reading. Okay, and if you want to grab a copy of the book, we're making it fairly easy for you. Just scan that QR code to download Finding Esme. We also have information on how you can get an e-card from North Texas Libraries to check out a free copy. We'll be right back, guys. Get your book. Okay, welcome back to WFAA Academy, as it is time for a little bit of reading, and we are reading along with you today. The book is Finding Esme by Texas author Suzanne Crowley. Yesterday's lesson was Chapter 1. Today we'll be getting into Chapter 2. And joining us as we read today is Gwen Reyes from freshfiction.com. Welcome, Gwen.
Thanks, Tashara. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you being here as well. For those just joining us, let's talk a little bit about the book. What ages is this book aimed at?
So I definitely would consider this more of a middle grade book. So that's anything between the ages of 10 to maybe 14 or 15. Our main character is 12 years old, so I think our younger readers are going to definitely sort of see themselves in her. And so these books are definitely sort of aimed for that age.
Okay. Now, for people trying to catch up a little bit, this is still fairly new to some. Let's talk a little bit about Chapter 1, which Cleo Green got into yesterday.
Absolutely. So we're first introduced right off the bat to our main character, Esme. She's 12 years old. She is the narrator, so it's all coming from her perspective, which is also really fun. We're digging right into her things. But she's got a really tragic backstory. Her grandfather has just passed away, and she's kind of dealing with the loss of him and just sort of struggling with that. But she's also interacting with her grandma, who's a very strong personality. I saw a lot of my own grandma in her, which was interesting. And then she's also has a little brother that lives with her, and sort of a mysterious mom figure that we're going to see a little bit more in later chapters.
Okay, what can you tell us to look forward to, rather, as we get into Chapter 2 here today?
So in Chapter 2, at the end of Chapter 1, Esme is on an adventure. She's kind of following these voices that are in her head. She thinks it might be her grandfather talking to her and guiding her to certain spots on their farm. And when she goes to the spot where her grandfather had a fatal heart attack on his tractor, which has just kind of been sitting there for the last 3 months, she discovers bones underneath the tractor. And she doesn't really know what to do with it. At first, she doesn't know if they are human bones or if they're dinosaur bones. bones. We're going to later find out that they are not human bones, which is good. But she, at the beginning of the chapter 2, she's kind of struggling and dealing with, like, what do I do with this investigation? What do I do with this information that I've got? And are people going to believe me? So she's kind of keeping those secrets close to her heart.
Isn't that part of her struggle with her family too, trying to figure out what are these bones and where they come from?
Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, it's interesting. She doesn't really know how to tell the people in her life things. And I think that's one of the themes that we're going to see is sort of the stories that you keep to yourself and the secrets that you keep can kind of really damage yourself. And also it can hurt your own family because, you know, if you just ask for help, a lot of these issues would be not there. But she's dealing with these strong personalities of people who are like, Esme, go deal with your own stuff. You know, we've got real problems to handle because they're also impoverished. They're a poorer family and they live in a poorer community, so they don't really have time for what they would consider childlike problems. And then we've also got the struggle with Esme dealing with the fact that not only has her grandfather, who's one of her biggest allies, passed away, she doesn't have a father figure in her life either, because her father ended up running out on the family after her little brother was born.
Sounds like this is a little deep. Esme gonna be teaching all of us a little something. So Gwen,
right? Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us here today. Okay, guys, we will be right back with our next chapter. But if you still need the book, hey, pull out your cell phone, use your camera. You can download it through that QR code there on your screen, or check with your local library for an electronic edition. We'll be right back, guys. Okay, hey guys, welcome back. It is time for our reading lesson. We are on chapter 2 of Finding Esme. Now I'm going to show you the book. Make sure you got it all out here. Okay, so we're going to start with chapter 2. So it says, I woke with a start. There was a slow, throbbing pain in my nose. Then I remembered I'd found bones. I'd found bones up on Solace Hill. I lay in a bed a while, you know, just watching the raindrops catch on the window. My white Chanel bedspread tucked up under my chin. It was pouring again. I nibbled on the knots in the Chanel like I did when I was worried about something. Those gnawed down knots over half the bedspread representing my life. Now after Paps died, I stayed in the quicksand cocoon of my bed nibbling on those knots for a week till B finally yanked me out. Now B says I carry too many worries in my heart and it's gonna explode if I don't learn to let them just fly away. Now I rolled over and pulled the bedspread over my head. You know, I couldn't do anything about those bones. Not yet. Not in the rain and not with B's antenna up. Now I'd have to sneak back tonight. I clenched my eyes shut, thinking about all of it. Had I dreamed it? My numbly, tingly feet, the flash of shadows in the rain, the hen house, whoosh! Yeah, the fireflies leading us up, and finally, that bone. My heart sank, wondering what it could be. I still remember the day my daddy Harlan left for good. I'd watch from my bedroom window as he drove down the gravel drive in his white Chevy pickup slowly, so slowly, that for one ridiculous moment, I thought perhaps he was thinking about turning around. Now I knew that she, my mother, was watching from somewhere in the house just like me. A cloud of dust swirled behind his back wheels and I could still make out the rainbow splatters on the tailgate where countless cans of paint had spilled. Now if I squinted, it almost looked like one of his paintings. Harlan McCauley is an artist, but no one around here understands what he does. Now B describes his painting as ain't no picture paintings, not to mention a waste of perfectly good paint. Now, amidst all of the swirls and blobs, most of his paintings have June Rain's beautiful face in there somewhere, haunting us at every angle. Okay, guys, we are leaving off on chapter 19. You do got some homework though tonight. Your homework is to go and finish reading chapter 2, and we're of course going to pick back up on chapter 3 tomorrow and summarize chapter 2. Okay. Also for tomorrow, it's health and wellness, and Sonia has a preview of that.
Okay, if you've been working from home and you find your low back aching or your shoulders are tight because of the way that you're sitting, Or maybe for weeks and weeks you've been walking a lot, playing with your kids, but you're not properly stretching. We're gonna fix all that. Tomorrow at 11:30, for 7 minutes, we're gonna do a stretch. It's part of the WFAA Academy My Health and Wellness series this month. Join us. You don't need anything, just yourself.
Okay, you know what, Sonia? I could use a little bit of stretching myself. I've been doing a little running. So kiddos, if you're out there and you want to do a little stretching with Sonia tomorrow, make sure you join us right back here at 11:30 again. But that is it for us today on WFAA Academy. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.